Long live God, long live the baby man. One time. So come to the Jenny Mumpire. So come for we are fire. I'm ready ever to you. Nana made ever to you. Baby Frigana, the man penny would cano your friend on the Frank Numa. Hear me sign up when my dear number your mama. I send back to baby Namintia, I am in one here on no Naji from Hudia, Ganaraya Sassin here, I have what they did my Mojana Nana, we are going to hold my head, room in never to say a baby at once. So, can I be a baby?
Hello and welcome to this special, and I mean special edition of Diaspora Weekly. You will get to know why it is special very soon, because we're going to take you on a journey unlike any that you've experienced before. But before we begin, I want to introduce you to a company in the UK called Tap Send. It's one of the fastest growing money transfer companies, owned by fellow Ghanaian, and he gets you your money from about a dozen countries throughout Europe and North America, and the money can be received in about 19 African countries, including Ghana, an entire West African country. Tap Send. Go on the website, download their app, and if you use DNT as a code, you get free $10 or £5 or €5 towards your first transaction. Tap Send. Thank you, Tap Send, for sponsoring our programs. And the next thing I'm going to do, as you know, if it's Diaspora Weekly time, it is Jangle time. This is the only time I get to express my own opinion. Jangle, Jermaine Sangle, is next. In today's Jangle, I want you to watch this video first.
I've got a message for all illegals. If you don't want to be pushed back, if you don't want to be arrested, if you don't want to be shot, don't come to our borders. Do not come to the Polish border. Then you're safe. It's not us, it's not our police who came up to beat you up, to push you, or to arrest you. It's you who tried to break the law on our land.
They asked Mr. Toczynski, how many refugees has Poland taken?
0.
And you're proud of that?
If you are asking me, if you are asking me about Muslims illegal immigration, none, not even one, will come to Poland. Not even one if it's illegal. We took over 2 million Ukrainians who are working, who are peaceful in Poland. We will not receive even one Muslim because this is what we promised.
But I asked not about illegal immigrants, I asked about refugees. And Jean-Claude Juncker, the Commission President, says that you're racist. You sound proud of the fact that you haven't taken any refugees.
Of course, because this is what our people are expecting from our government. That's number one. This is why our government was elected. But this is why Poland is so safe. This is the reason why we had not even one terrorist attack. Look at the streets in Poland. And we can be called populists, nationalists, racists. I don't care. I care about my family and about my country.
Now, this guy, I don't know his name, and quite frankly, I do not even want to know his name. His racism, he's not even trying to hide it. It's blatant. Okay? He's talking about, he's a Polish government official. The reason why I'm bringing this is this. Just listen to him. I don't need to even go into what he said because you heard it yourself. And he's a government official. If this guy is not terminated, I think it should impact Polish own membership of European Union. Why do I say this? Because Europe has been very, very commendable within the past few couple of decades in terms of integrating people of all backgrounds. And then you, Poland, who came from the former Soviet bloc, you come to join European Union, and you're a government official, and at a time that people are running for their lives from Ukraine, you are spewing such blatant, open, racist venom in the open, on television. And he's not even apologetic about it. So this DNT is really calling a special attention to this. I don't see how this individual remains a government official of Poland and Poland remains a part of the European Union. Because in both cases, if something is not done about it, it means, one, the Polish government sanctions what he's saying, or two, European Union sanctions government officials spewing such racist venom. And so today, I want it clear. Look, when you come to the African continent, we have everybody here, Arabs, Chinese, white people. You will never hear a government official on this continent spew such ignorant, racist venom towards people of other race. And yet we are the ones who have our resources being looted. When Europeans try to make it as if, oh, Africans or other people are there to take from them, I submit to you that there is nothing that the African takes from Europe that Europeans don't take 10 times off from this continent. So this notion that we migrate over there, they're doing us a favor, they're giving us a place to stay and everything. Look, what they take from this continent is far more than all what Africans take from Europe put together. So let's get this narrative right. When yes, we should do our homework. We as Africans, we need to do a better job of doing our homework so that our people don't have to flee. But when they do, they should not be subjected to this kind of treatment. Because when we try to return the favor, it's not going to be pretty. Why is it that any group of people has to be subjected to this kind of treatment repeatedly over a long period of time, and nobody does anything about it? And now it's become fashionable for politicians to say it blatantly on TV. We take it seriously, and if you're watching us, so should you. And so for today, that's the jungle. Stay tuned, and you're going to meet my amazing guest. He's amazing because you wait till you hear what he has to say. This is Jungle. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Tap, tap, and stand. It's okay. Go. Let me speak to my people. Now, let me speak to you. I know the stress people go through when they want to send money from abroad to their family members and loved ones in Ghana and even in Africa. See, if you are in the USA, if you are in London, UK, Canada, Europe, any part of the world, see, Tap Send has made it very easy. All you have to do is to tap and send. Within a twinkle of an eye, your money will be sent with no stress. It's very fast, convenient, and easy to access everywhere. What are you waiting for? Just tap, and send. Download Tap Send now on Google Play and App Store. Tap Send. It's secure, convenient, easy, and fast.
Hello and welcome back. This is Diaspora Weekly. My name is Jermaine Nkrumah, and you're watching Diaspora Network Television. Today, we got us, Oscar Bimpong. Oscar Bimpong.
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you.
I'm going to let you tell your story. I'm not going to do all those. Who is Oscar Bempong? Talk to us.
Wow. It sounds a very simple question, but it's a very complex one as well. Okay. Anyway, Oscar Bempong for short is, Oscar is an author. He's a mindset coach, a transformational speaker, and a corporate trainer. Oscar is the guy that talks about the mind. So in terms of motivational session, he talks about the mind. In terms of corporate training, he talks about the mind. He's got an amazing training for corporate in terms of how to develop the right corporate mindset, because it's a very unusual kind of training. I always tell CEOs and directors of companies that anybody that you recruit walks through the door with their own mindset. How do we align their mindset to the vision of the company? Until that is done, we will never be able to maximize our potential as an organization. So you can call me the mind guy.
The mind guy. Or AKA my new best friend. Because I'm telling you, look, I'm a student of the mind. I think when you look at the fact that, I'm sure you know this, that in our lifetime, we may not even use a quarter of our brain's capacity. So I'm definitely a student of the mind. So this conversation, I've looked forward to it for a long time. But first, let's talk. Is that your book, right?
Yes. I think this is my third book.
Okay.
But there is that saying that you can have so many products, but there's that one product that always sells. And this book amazingly has taken me to Ghana the last 2 years.
Let me show it. Yeah. It's called Mindset Revolution. Voila. People pick guns and they say, we're having a revolution and we're going to overtake government. This is the revolution.
Yes.
If we can do a successful revolution of the mind, it seems like our problems are solved.
Exactly.
Tell us, what made you write this book?
This book dates back to me using a phone, let's say 2 decades ago. And the most, I don't know whether to say surprising or the most amazing aspect is that every phone that I get, the screen will crack.
At some point.
At some point.
Wow.
It doesn't matter. Sometimes I can handle it for a year, but it will crack. And this has really happened for so long a time that it reached a stage that it has taken hostage of my mind. Meaning that anytime I get a new phone, the first thing that comes into my mind that this one will break. And lo and behold, it will break. Wow. So I was getting worried that why is it that every phone that I get, the screen will crack? And
wait, you're an African?
Yes.
Why didn't you say, oh, Yabomiduya, Ifie is the African voodoo thing? Why didn't you attribute it to that? Which is common.
Probably if maybe I was driving a Range Rover and every Range Rover I get or Mercedes I'm having an accident, then I would say okay. But a phone, I'm like, no, I don't know why. That, to be honest, I didn't go that angle though. But I thought there was something wrong, especially when every time I get a new phone, it starts ringing in my mind that this one took. And you see, this voice over time becomes so dominant that it makes you feel very uncomfortable. And sometimes the phone will fall down, probably it will not crack. But then it starts ringing that next time you are lucky this time.
Phobia.
So when you look at this book, it's called Mindset Revolution, re-engineering your mind from prison to purpose. Meaning that I was in prison when it comes to my phone. And I just started working, and the last one that really caused me to really start working on my mind is when I got a new Samsung, fresh, and that one was the shortest time it cracked, within 2 weeks.
Wow.
And I'm like, something must be done. And I started studying the mind. I started working on my mind, and I believed at a point that my phones are not meant to be cracked. And that is where I started from. And I got to the stage and I realized that whatever that was happening to me in terms of the phone probably is happening to people in different angles of life. So probably somebody this is maybe their 5th marriage or their 4th relationship, and they think that relationship is not meant for them. and because of that, they've given up. I want to tell those people that you don't need to give up. You can work on your mind, work on your weakness, build yourself up, and because you might never know.
Wait, you're talking about weakness. If I go through 4 divorces, it's the other person's fault. It's never my fault. Or at least that's the thinking, right?
That's the thinking, but I don't think it's right, because
that's what I'm saying.
We all got our shortfall. So I think probably maybe one person will probably might outweigh the other person in a way, but you cannot take yourself out of the situation that you are the perfect when it comes to that. I don't buy that idea. And I think because we don't do that, that is why probably the next one we still fail, because we don't learn from the past experiences.
So you're the man in the mirror type of person. Michael Jackson, man in the mirror. Look in the mirror for, if you're looking for something wrong, your first place to look is in the mirror.
Yes.
If you don't find it, then you look elsewhere.
Yes.
And in looking in the mirror, you have to be honest about the person staring back at you.
Yes.
What is wrong with that person?
Yes. You see, we are kind of people, especially black people, that sometimes, I'm not saying all the time, we tend to blame others, right? Not blaming ourselves. Because you see, the mindset you carry, you developed it. So the first blame should come from you, not from a third party. You can really say so many things. So we have got that culture that we blame the government, we blame the system, we blame our family, we blame the third parties, but we never blame ourselves.
But wait, there are victims. There are actual victims. Those who are innocent victims.
Yeah.
I mean, a child sent to go and buy salt from the market. On her way back, she gets abducted. Or some guys pounce on her and rape her or whatever. There are instances where, in all honesty, there's innocence and a victim.
Yes.
So in that case, too, should we look at ourselves?
So for every rule, there's an exception. And that is why I agree with you, right? But then I want you to understand that wherever you find yourself in life, you are the architect of that level. You are where you are in life, not because of the things that are outside, but the things that are within you.
Your control,
And the things that are within your control, it is the mindset that you carry. You see, the first call of limitation is not the limitation that is placed on the outside, but the limitation that is placed on our mind. You see, the moment you tell yourself it cannot be done, so be it. The moment you think you cannot achieve it, so be it. But the moment you tell yourself that this can be done, you are 30% to success. Why? Because you believe. You see, I've got a mantra. And my mantra is, it's possible if only you believe, right? If you don't believe in the first place, don't even start it.
Okay, so let me take you back to your phone. The current phone, how long have you had it?
So I've had my current phone for 3 years.
Oh, so it hasn't cracked.
And because of that, I haven't changed my phone.
Okay.
I want it to go the mileage.
So what did you do differently this time?
So what I did differently was to be conscious about my phone. Deliberate act to make sure that my phone is secured at all times. I did other stuff. Put in a protector, put in a cover, right? But you see, sometimes and most of the times we are not conscious. What I mean by we are not conscious is that, you see, if you are not deliberate, you see, there is one thing I talk about success. Success needs to be deliberate. If it is not deliberate, then there is no way you can get to the pinnacle of your success.
Okay, so then let me ask you this. You hear, especially on this continent, somebody's family has been cursed, or so you don't believe in outside influences, spiritual influences?
You see, most of the times when I'm having interviews, I don't really want to bring my spirituality out because probably somebody that is watching me does not believe in what I believe in. But as a Christian, if we want to go on that tangent, then I believe that there are certain things that can fight us, right? But then, I always tell people we don't need to concentrate on those things. We need to concentrate on what we can do best.
But do you believe those things exist?
I believe, in terms of me being a Christian, right? But somebody might be in a religious society that don't believe in those things. So I'm speaking for myself, not speaking in totality of everybody that is watching us, right? So I believe that our spiritual life must go in hand with our physical life. And actually, that is what I teach. Balancing our spiritual to the physical. Because what I do, I also do it in churches as well. Because I believe that, for example, we as Africans, we've concentrated so much on the spiritual aspect, neglecting the physical.
We give them too much credibility. We give them too much credit. Is that what you're saying?
Too much attention, which is not bad, but there should be a balance. So let me give you a typical example. So you've prayed and fasted that you want a job, right? Then you go out there and 10 people tells you no and you give up. You are not balancing your spiritual life with the physical. It means that what you prayed about, you don't even believe in it in the first place. Last year I was on a tour with YEA and we went to about 7 regions, right? And there is one question I always ask this packed auditorium with young people who are seeking jobs. And I ask them, how many times have you applied jobs the whole year? And somebody will have the confidence to tell me the whole year they have applied 9 jobs. And we're talking about in September. So it means that every month that person was applying 1 job. But these are the same young people who are fasting and praying in our churches.
It's easier to fast and pray than to get, maybe to some of them, affording to go look for a job. You have to print your resumes. You have to get on the car, travel to places. But if I kneel down and pray, it's easier.
Yeah. So this is what is actually killing us in one way or the other. The miracle-centered mind. Okay. You know, we believe that a miracle should happen. You see, in some of my trainings, there is some certain things that I teach people, right? That if, for example, you're a Christian and you've been told that you are going to be a top businessman, Africa, you are going to rule as one of the top businessmen around. And this probably is a prophecy, or let's say it's a prophecy. But then you haven't even acted on that. So I ask people that, have you registered your business? So let me give a typical example. So that is
if it's been prophesied that I will be successful, especially by a priest.
Yeah.
All I have to do is sit down and fold my arms.
No.
It'll come.
So that is where the problem comes. That is where the problem comes. So you have got your role to do, to play, and God has got his role to play.
Right.
Now, if that prophecy comes, it means that you need to, for example, on the foundational or on the ground, you need to register your company. Meaning that prophecy probably might come through at any time, right? The point is that you need to prepare for it, right? Now, if you don't register your company, God does not register companies miraculously. It is your responsibility to go out there and register a company. But the problem we are having now is that a lot of people are giving their role to God. And God is never going to do that.
Is an understanding part of this?
I think one, education is needed.
Yeah.
But 2, I think many of us, we are always waiting for opportunities instead of seeking for opportunities. So let me give you a typical example of this YEA program. Everywhere I stand, I will just pull out a 5 Ghana cedi note. And I say, who wants money? Pull it in their faces. And trust me, 99 or 100% of the time, nobody wakes up to come and take the money. What they do is that they rather raise their hands. Meaning that they know what they want, but they are not ready to go for it. So we have got accustomed to waiting for opportunities instead of going for opportunities.
Okay, so this analogy that you gave, prophecy, maybe that is where our spiritual leaders have failed us, because they don't connect the dots the way you have. Because if I read the Bible and it says Moses was instructed by God to lead the Israelites, and when he got to the Red Sea, he put his club and the sea parted into two. That's just straight miracle.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So how come that miracle should not apply to me? I should be able to, okay, if I'm going to be successful, I should be able to do this.
Okay.
And the business is registered.
Yes.
Because Moses tapping his, and the sea coming apart,
Yes.
that miracle, why? Does God love Moses more than he loves me? Why is it that I have to go through the process of going to school, registering a business, doing this? What is the difference? So maybe the leaders are not connecting the dots in terms of today's realities. Is that
I think one of the problems that has really let this continent down is religion.
Okay.
Right? I think it's one of our major challenges.
Okay.
And the problem is that we are not able to separate where spirituality ends and physicality takes over. Right?
Yeah.
If you go for interview, right, and they ask you a question, what do you know about the vision of DNT, right, as a Christian, right? Do you speak tongues or you exhibit knowledge?
You should have done your research to know about DNT's vision.
You see, so is the problem we have is that we will pray about the interview, but we will not research about what is supposed to be done when it comes to that interview that we are going.
Okay.
And at that point, when that question is asked, tongue speaking ceases and knowledge takes over. But at that time, we still want miracle of answers.
Okay.
But that is why I think we are not able to really balance our spiritual life with the physical life.
Okay.
Let me give you a typical example. So there's this lady in my church. There was a prophecy that, look, you are going to get a job. And the job that you are going to get is around 40 to 50,000 pounds a year. But what you need to do is that the job will come with a car. So you need to do your driving license. 3 months along the line, the job was there, the car is provided. Where is your driving license? Driving license wasn't done. God does not do a driving license. It is your responsibility. And this is where I think we have to get it clear. Those that have got the opportunity to be behind the pulpit, teaching us. And religion has got so much influence in our community as Africans, such that until we get this clear, that you have got a role to play, I think there is no way we can really get to where we are supposed to be.
You know what? This, I told you, this is going to, in fact, it gets even better from here. But we have to go on a break. When we come back, we are going to find out who is Oscar Bimpong. Stay tuned. This is Diaspora Weekly.
What's cool, fresh and trendy with a new look? Makes you feel real good, that refreshing vibe. Satisfies you right just the way you like. Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? Ain't gotta do it alone. Specialized makes you glow. Anytime, anywhere. Specialized, feel different. Always think specialized. Special Ice Natural Mineral Water. Feel different. Think special. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Hello and welcome back. This is Diaspora Weekly, the Mindset edition of Diaspora Weekly, and we're joined by Oscar Bimpong, Mind Coach.
Yes.
But we even forgot to know about who's Oscar Bimpong? Where did you start? Where did you grow up?
So I grew up. I was born actually in Mampong,
Okay.
in Ashanti region. That is where I grew up, and my parents moved to Obuasi, the Gold City. And so I spent a substantial part of my life over there. And finally, over time, I migrated to Kumasi, and now I spend my life now in Accra at the moment.
Okay.
So basically, that is my life in Ghana.
And where you ended up in UK, right?
Yes, exactly.
What took you to UK?
There is one thing I always say, that you know, at a point in our lives, we saw our uncles traveled, our aunties traveled, they come back home, and all we see was success. And at a point in time in our lives, we also decided that, look, we want to be part of this economic migrant where probably we can change our lives. It's been a very good experience. Trust me, I've learned a lot traveling abroad. I've got a lot of experience. Sometimes people think traveling is all about money. No, the experience becomes an asset, such that over time you can even survive everywhere in the world and even thrive and do better. But then at a point in time, we realized that it's not as the pasture in Europe is not as greener as it seems, and where sometimes you work so hard, but it looks like there is a certain level that you can never reach.
You can't go past it.
You can't go past it. So we got to the stage where we realized that, look, the best is to come home. I was speaking to a friend of mine. I said, look, when I come to Ghana and I want to go to GTV, I can go there the next day. I can come to DNT whenever I want to. But then, how can I get to BBC or CNN? So this is home for me.
Right. Now, I don't have any problem with home. Don't get me wrong. Matter of fact, if there is anything that DNT stand for, it is for those of us who have had the opportunity to travel overseas to come back home to help build this country. But the UK that you stated, that there is a limit as a black person that you can go, it is indeed also true that certain black people have gone farther up.
Of course.
Right. So is that also a mind limitation issue?
It can be a kind of a mind limitation, but I can tell you sometimes it depends on the industry that you are in.
Right.
Right? Some certain industries probably is difficult for you to rise than others.
Okay.
Right? And let me also put it this way, that there are some people that genuinely, they are so good that you can never neglect them,
right,
whether they are black or green or yellow, right? So it cuts across.
They're gifted.
Yes, yes, but on the level playing field, it's very difficult sometimes to rise to a certain level, and I think we have to accept that before we fight it.
Of course,
the
reality.
That's the reality.
I mean, until Obama came along, it wasn't real or realistic as a black man to say, I want to be president.
To be in the White House.
But then again, it was a possibility. Somebody had to explore it.
Yes.
And it took an exceptional guy to be able to crack that ceiling.
Yes. And once that is broken, then means that a lot of people can really. But for some of us, we believe in our own. We believe that we can be part of the success story of where we come from. To be honest, UK has been very kind to me. I've really got a lot of experience. Today I was here. I was supposed to be here past, but I was here earlier. UK taught me time, you know, and these are assets that you can never despise it.
Okay.
It becomes. I always tell people that it becomes a competitive advantage for you, even especially in this environment, where some people don't respect time.
Okay.
So it's all about where you find yourself and how you can make it work.
Yeah.
I believe that wherever you find yourself, you have to make most of it.
Yeah.
And really get to do the best that you can do.
Okay.
But then I feel more at home.
Okay.
I feel like when I'm at home, I operate better than anywhere else. But somebody might think different, which is okay,
Right.
based on also their experiences and where they are coming from.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me explore this African in a white man's world, combining the realities that we face over there and a statement that we hear often and often and often. The sky is the limit. We hear it all the time. Is the sky really the limit?
No.
I mean, what does that statement mean?
So there is one thing I always say when it comes to the sky. The sky is the limit statement. I personally say, and that is probably, you can quote me on that, that the sky is the limit is a scam.
It's a scam.
It's a scam.
Okay. Well, let me repeat that. The saying the sky is the limit
It's
is
a
a scam.
Yes.
Why is it a scam?
Because we can go beyond the skies.
Can you?
Yes.
You
see?
can't touch the ceiling in the sky.
Okay. So, the how do you call it? Amazon guy. What's the name?
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos. The
Facebook guy.
you know what the word limitation, the moment it comes in any of your conversation, it means that you cannot rise above a certain potential.
Yeah. Okay. So the whole essence of the sky is the limit is indeed there is no limit.
There's
to the
no
sky.
limit.
That's why they use the sky.
Yes.
So why is it a scam?
So why are they saying the sky is the limit?
Because that's another way of saying there's no limit. Because you can't touch the sky. You see what I mean? That's
Can
another.
you go beyond the skies?
Actually, no. The solar system, it has not been proven that you can hit a ceiling anywhere. In other words, if you have the propellant to take you forever, based on our current knowledge, you're not going to touch any ceiling.
Okay.
So I think the sky is the limit is a way of saying that there is really no limit. But so the question that I keep saying is that when you are somewhere, a black person in UK, and they tell you the sky is the limit, are they lying to you? I mean, take that statement.
I've got the issue with the statement, the sky is the limit, irrespective of the angle you are putting it from.
Okay.
For me, where I sit,
Okay.
the word limitation is not in my dictionary.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I believe that I can get to any level I want to be.
Okay.
Right? Now, there
Can.
are... You know?
Can.
Yeah, you can.
But can you replace the can and put will?
I think you've been too tactical, but this is too much of a grammar. I'm going to an English teacher here.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna switch on you. The Jeff Bezos of the world.
Yes.
And what's the Facebook guy? What's his name?
Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah.
Zuckerberg.
Yeah.
Some would say they got lucky. Yes, they worked hard. But business success, there's a huge role played in luck. Do you believe in that? I mean, played by luck.
In life, everybody that got to the top went through somebody.
Okay.
There is nobody that gets to the top
Did it on
and
his
said,
own.
I did it alone.
Okay.
Right? So I believe in getting to the right places at the right time.
Okay.
Because you see, there is one thing I always say, that whatever you need in life, somebody has it in abundance.
Yeah.
So if we are walking barefooted,
Yeah.
somebody has got 1,000 shoes.
All right.
Now the question is, how do you connect?
Okay.
You know? And I believe that this world, if you believe that one day you are going to meet somebody that is going to give you a shoe to wear, that person that has got more, and you start putting your mind to, you start working towards it, you start taking the right steps. I don't know how, but one way or the other, you meet that person.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might not meet that person directly,
Yeah.
but through somebody. So I have got that belief that, look, some people are lucky, but the fact that you are not lucky And this brings us to purpose. These two people you mentioned their name, they are living their purposeful life. Now, the reason why many of us are struggling in life is that we are not living a purposeful life. There is one thing I always say, that nobody fails in their purpose.
Yeah. I mean, on the luck part, though, the role that luck plays. Take Zoom, for example.
Yeah.
Whoever created Zoom, do you really think that Zoom would have attained its current success had there not been coronavirus?
So when
you see,
so when Zoom started, right? There was coronavirus. I think it started in 2012 or 2013. I might be wrong, but then Zoom was struggling, but he was building the business.
Right.
But it's also about trying to be futuristic.
Yeah.
Trying to think about what is potentially going to happen in the future and try and build substantial business around it.
Yeah.
Right? He believed that probably one day, the way the world is going, the way internet has taken over, we will get to the stage where
that method
there
of
is
meeting.
look, now you sit here and you interview people in Barbados, you interview people in New York, you interview people in London, isn't it? Before, it wasn't possible. They need to come to the studio, right? So this is what the Zoom guy thought about. And he was ahead of time.
Yeah, and then just basically the coronavirus just pushed him on, but he was in position to be pushed along.
So you have to position yourself. So look at me talking about mindset now, right? Now, for the first time in my career in doing this, in 13 years of doing this as a transformational speaker, this is the time I've been so busy. Why? Because the message of the mindset is now connecting with the African continent.
Yeah. Why is that so?
Because, you see, there is, I think there is a wind of change that is happening. But that wind of change is not so much significant. But I've seen young people that are now ready to really fight and take their place on the continent. And they are seeking for answers. They are seeking knowledge. And they believe that it can be done. And mindset has become very crucial in this paradigm.
Yeah. And you see, that is how I took notice of you to start to interact with you. And to be honest with you, this part where you're going with regards to Africans and the mindset, that's going to be a next segment. We're going to go on a break. So in the next couple of minutes, I'm going to ask you this question, which will lead us into that segment. When I ask you where you're from, you mentioned Mampong, Obuasi, Kumasi. That places you in a certain part of the country.
Yes.
I have known, I've seen a situation where I'm listening to you, you make sense, you're resonating with me. But then the moment you mention the part of the country that you're from, I'm like, oh, the next things that you say after that, I start to question. Because why are we having these kinds of problems on this continent?
Wow. There is one thing I always say. Racism is on a larger scale, right? But tribalism is on the local scale. Let me put it that way. But it's one of the things that is really killing our development. You see, until we believe that it is about Ghana, until we believe that it is about Africa, and not about our tribal alliance or where we are coming from or our background, there is no way we can work in unity to succeed.
Yeah, but why is it that an overwhelming number of Ashantis tend to incline with the MPP? An overwhelming number of Ewes, for example, tend to incline with the NDC. An overwhelming number of black people in America tend to gravitate towards Democrat. An overwhelming number of whites in America tend to gravitate towards a Republican. That's tribalism, both here and there.
Yes.
But for them, something seemed to be working.
Yes.
Why is it not working for us?
It's a very good question. A very, very good question. And I think I wish I have had all the answers for you. but let's put it this way, right? When you look at the UK, right, the Labour is struggling to come to power because a lot of Labour people are now voting for the Conservative.
Oh, really?
Right.
Okay.
So I can say that in such jurisdiction, some people sit down, or a lot of people sit down and look at policies on the table and they vote, right? I think these are some of the things that we need to start learning from here.
Okay.
That the fact that I belong to Party A and they are not delivering doesn't mean that I should stay with them for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Because you see, we should stop thinking even about ourselves and start thinking about our children and the next generation. If we are not delivering, why are we still holding on to
that? Well, I can tell you that. I think that's the definition of tribalism. But we're going to go on a break. When we come back, we'll dive even deeper. And I know my producers are going to kill me. But the next segment is where the meat is at.
All right, then.
This is Diaspora Weekly. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Tap, tap, and send. It's okay. Go. Let me speak to my people. Now, let me speak to you. I know the stress people go through when they want to send money from abroad to their family members and loved ones in Ghana and even in Africa. See, if you are in the USA, if you are in London, UK, Canada, Europe, any part of the world, see, Tap Send has made it very easy. All you have to do is to tap and send. Within a twinkle of an eye, your money will be sent with no stress. It's very fast, convenient, and easy to access everywhere. What are you waiting for? Just tap, and send. Download Tap Send now on Google Play and App Store. Tap Send. It's secure, convenient, easy, and fast.
Hello and welcome back. This is Diaspora Weekly and we're joined by Mind Coach Oscar Bimpong. Born and raised in Ghana, traveled to United Kingdom, and now he's back and he's changing minds. How many minds, by your count, have you been able to change?
I think I've lost count.
You've lost count? It's not easy to change our mind. I was talking with Dr. Arikana Chiwumbori. The first time I interviewed her in Dallas, Texas, she said something that has stuck with me. She said, Jermaine, how do you take a person who is sick, that everybody sees is sick, but he doesn't believe he's sick? How do you get that person to go to the hospital?
That's very
You see, I see it, a lot of us see that Africa, we have a mindset problem. But the African on the street thinks he's fine. How do you get him to seek help?
So I think this is where education comes in. That is where me and you come in terms of this program that you are doing, trying to change the mindset of our people. There is one thing I always say, that it doesn't take just a moment for things to change. It has to be a continuous process, right? So it's not like we start today educating them and tomorrow we stop. This education that we have started, is a lot of people probably might not catch it this time. But over time, probably they might get to understand us.
But let's start from the basic. Do we even need mindset education?
We need it very well.
Why do we need it?
Because you see, when you look at where we are as a continent, the resources that we have, if you look at the human resource that we have, I always cite an example of Nigeria and Ghana. We've got one of the most powerful human resource on earth when it comes to education. Go to Europe, go to America. Every top-notch organization or system you are more likely to have a Ghanaian or a Nigerian consultant who are there. Why do they thrive in those jurisdictions, but they are not able to thrive here?
That's a 64 million city question.
Yes.
You see, I'll have the numbers to help you. I think the point you were trying to make, we sit on wealth. And Nana Akufo-Addo made a statement, he said, we sit on wealth and yet we're hungry.
Yes.
And let me give you the numbers. Africa, 17% of the world's population. Africa, home to over 34% of the resources the world needs today.
Yes.
Africa, home to 40% of the world's poor. If you put this equation on a blackboard or a board in any school, this is an equation that just doesn't work.
Yes.
17% of the people have 34% of the resources, but yet they are 40% of the world's poor. Explain that to me. So why, if you look at this, then I have the nerve to sit here and ask you, why do we even need mindset education?
There is a saying, you see, there is a saying that you cannot give an old dog a new name, right? I think over the years, we have mismanaged everything that we have, right? And it is about time we start doing things differently. Now, to do things differently now is very difficult. Why? Because there is an example I always give, that the policeman who is standing by the roadside taking bribe will never wake up one day and stop. There is a saying that the mango does not fall from the tree by itself. Something has to trigger it, right? We need to start to trigger our own change. But it's very difficult when it comes to me and you, our level. Me and you, we have already been formed in terms of the mindset that we carry. So for us to change the mindset is very difficult. So for me, what I think we should do is to probably have a 30 to 50 year plan of working on the minds of our children. That is trying to put in intentionally in their subconscious mind what we want them to believe.
Okay, hold it right there. And I don't want to be political here, far be it, okay? But when you say instill in the minds of our young, 30 to 50 year plan, what comes to my mind is free education, free SHS. Now, it seemed to me it's similar to that plan. Okay, let's forget about the old folks. Let's start with the young. Make sure that everybody gets to a certain educational level and everything. And we can make an argument about what we're teaching them in the class and everything. But it seemed like if you start at that point, you're pretty much on the right track. Let's educate everybody and everything. But the African is now will attack you and say, but we're hungry now. Why are you looking at 30 to 50 year plan? And they have the numbers.
And I think that is some of the things, because we are not used to long-term plans.
Yes.
We are just used to today. You
Yes.
see, we have got the consumption mentality.
Yeah.
And the consumption mentality is that I get it today, I spend it today, and hope for tomorrow.
Yeah.
We don't plan for the next
And those people make the majority.
Yes. So what you see, in my experience of what I do, right? I can be walking on the streets of Accra, and a stranger will come to me and he say, "Are you Oscar Bimpong?" I say, "Yes." And this is an adult. And he's like, "Look, I listened to one of your videos. I came to one of your seminars because of you. In 10 years ago, I didn't have this, but now this is what I have." Somebody even in Kumasi had to give me 1,000 Ghana cedis.
Oh, wow.
Right? Now, what I'm trying to say is that we can change the mindset of our people. But for me and you, our mindset is already formed, and it's very difficult for us to change. My plan is that let's work on the young ones. Let me give you an example. In the UK where we live, people don't like this example and this comparison, but I think sometimes it has to be made. That in the UK where I live, there are certain principles that are instilled in children to the extent that when they don't even go to church, those principles, they still adhere to it. Right? So this is where you as a parent, you are doing something and your child will say, Daddy, why are you doing that? Because of the principles that has been instilled in them.
Okay.
And I think we should be deliberate about these things. It should be an indoctrination for our children to understand the effect of corruption, for example, on our system. Lack of honesty, the impact in society.
But those things didn't come here by accident. How did we get here?
So that is why. So how did we get here? I don't want to go back to the slavery and the colonization days because it trickles down.
Well, guess what? Remember the person who is sick analogy that
Yes.
Dr. Arikana said?
Yes.
If you go to the hospital, we finally get you to the hospital.
Yes.
And the doctor identifies what's wrong with you. They still have to go back to, what did you do to do this? Did you eat too many candies? Did you eat too much fatty foods that get you this? We have to go there to be able to identify that before we can stop you from. So that history part we need to go back.
So there is a cause and effect, isn't it? There is no there can only be effect if there is a cause. So the cause is the foundation, right?
So the cause is where you don't want to go.
Yes, so that is the slavery and the colonization. You see, if you can have the heart to sell your brother, right? To another person, right?
For milk.
For
geisha.
whiskey, for geisha, right? Then I think there is nothing that you cannot do. Now let me give an example.
What if we didn't sell them?
Let me give an example. So I was doing a research and I came across that. You see, on a plantation farm, right? When you let's say you impregnate another black lady on a plantation farm, what the masters do is that they will take you, the man, from that particular plantation farm and go and put you on another plantation farm, right? Now, this was a way of separating families, right? Now, when you look at baby mamas, this kind of iconic way of we describing having children but not looking after them, right? When you look at other cultures, we are the only ones that are really significantly doing it. That is from whether it's white people, Asians, or even the Chinese, right? Now, this thing, now, from my research, realized that it dates back to those days. So these things has trickled down. I think there is a book that everybody that is watching this should really read that book. And that book is really in-depth. The book is by Matthew Ashimolo. It's titled, What is Wrong with Being Black? And after reading that book, if you are not careful, you are just going to be an angry person, because you will realize some of the things that we happened to us in the past and it's still now happening to us, but it's very unconscious. And that is how it becomes so dangerous. So now you go to London, that a lot of young black girls are having children, but they don't care about having a husband just because they even want a council flat.
Okay, time out. Every time I hear these kinds of conversation, it always goes back to slavery, what they did to us.
Yes.
Why is it that a group of people from Europe, a group of people in Africa, they came to us? We didn't go to them.
Yes.
They came to our turf. By the time they got here, we had our own systems.
Yes.
We had what is beautiful and what is not.
Yeah.
But yet, the person came back and he was able to do things to us.
Yes.
That is where I have the problem. Whenever we talk about they did to us, how come we didn't do it to them, even though they are the ones who came to our turf?
So I was reading somewhere, and I think this should probably answer your question. You see, they were so strategic that...
How come we weren't strategic?
Yes, they were so strategic that they rather found out people that they can work with, right? So and these people were strategic in society, they have power and they control us. So what they did was, now, you know, if that person who is in pole position is aligned to what I'm going to do, then I'm a step forward.
You're talking about a continent.
Yes.
Where
Or even in
today-
Ghana.
Yeah. We're talking about an African continent.
Yes.
Where today,
Yes.
you, Oscar Bimpon, traveled to UK and came back. Jermaine and Nkrumah traveled to United States and came back.
Yes.
If we come back and we want to bring any new ideas, what's the first thing they say? Hey, as for this is how it is in Ghana. You hear that very often.
Yeah.
How come back then, when the white man came, we didn't stand up to hey, you and your Christianity, this is how we do it here. But how come we didn't do that then? But now we're so aggressive. If you bring in, this is gonna happen. How come we didn't do that then?
Jermaine, it hasn't changed. It is the same now. It was the same the last time.
Yeah, but we accepted them.
So let me give you the reason why. You see, when you come from Texas and you come just to talk, to change the narrative, it's not going to work. But try and give them something. Try and give them something that is going to open the door for them. They are going to lose all their values, probably not all of us, but majority of us will lose our values and give you that opportunity. And I think that is what happened in the past.
Okay, so I think on that note, you've sold me. Yes, they came bearing something.
Yes.
All right, which
And
means
today it's still happening.
Yeah, which means whatever it is that they brought, we found more value in what they brought than what we had at the time. You want to tell us we didn't have things of value when they came down here back then? So why is it that we instantly saw more value in what they were bringing than the things that we had at the time?
You see, for you to win anyone, or for you to take charge of anyone's life, you need to take hold of their mind.
Okay.
And taking hold of their mind means that you need to convince them why yours is better than them. And I think that is an excellent job that they did on us. Now today, me and you are wearing traditional wear. But when you look about 15, 20 years ago, it was only old women that were wearing traditional wear to church. But today it's so fashionable. Why? Because one person stood up and changed the narrative that on Fridays, it is compulsory for all of us to wear what we believe in. And I think that is what we need to do. You know, it is about time we start believing in what... You see, the harm has already been caused. And that is why I don't even want to talk about today's
Okay.
But what can we do?
What can we do?
You see, we fought for independence. Now we've got independence. The independence that 6 March is Ghana will be 65 years. There is a question I always ask, that if Ghana was going on a pension, do you think Ghana is going to get a good pension?
Nope.
No. Right? But I believe that
in Ghana, their retirement is 60 over here.
60. So even Ghana itself is even now
It's
probably 5 years into their
citizen,
pension.
yeah.
Probably, you know, but what I'm trying to say is that until we understand that what happened in the past is over, now we are taking charge. What are we doing to ourselves?
Yeah.
We said that they are doing bad things to us. We fought for independence. Now, what are we doing to ourselves now that we are in charge? And I think this is the narrative we need to change. And for me, it is a very complex situation. But I believe in one thing. And my where I sit and where I stand, my motive is to change one Ghanaian at a time.
And you know what? We're going to have to bring you back. Because let me tell you, this mind thing, the more you start, and I go back to this statement that a very, very wise man told me. Wise man, do you know who that wise man is?
Told me.
Kunimo, the
Wow.
guitarist.
Yes.
Man, it's one of the sharpest people that you'll ever meet. He mentored me and he said, the more you learn, the more you learn that there is more to learn than you've already learned.
Yes. That's very deep.
The more you learn, that there is more to learn than you've already learned.
Yes.
And I kind of took that and cheated and said, okay, let me take a couple of the L's out of the equation. And you see, it comes to the more you earn, the more you learn that there is more to earn than you've already earned.
Wow. This is so deep.
Think about, and that is why You pray that, oh God, if I can only get my first million, and then you become a millionaire. Oh, you know what? My friends are all riding in private jets, and it costs more than. So now you want 5 million, you want 10, and it never stops. That's the human nature. And I think if we can only write that, and come to the conclusion that no matter how you and I, for example, think, okay, we've gone there, we've seen the white people, our mind is set up. But you know what? As I sit here, I feel like there's more to do on my mind than even the person who hasn't even started.
You're always learning.
Yes. And so to that end, Oscar, thank you for stopping by. I promise you, I'm going to bring Oscar back because we haven't even begun to scratch the surface on this one. Because when it comes to the mind, let me tell you, Africa, we have to unlearn. You know, learning something is different. It's one thing. But when you have to unlearn it, it's a longer process.
And relearn.
If you've been told 1 + 1 is 2, and you get to a point where they say, oh no, 1 + 1 is not 2, and you have to unlearn that, good luck.
Yes.
Okay? And so we have to unlearn a lot of the things that others have done to us through no fault of our own, because there's nobody alive here today who was back then when the colonial folks came. And so to that end, we've been given this, we've inherited this legacy. And it is our job for us to unlearn it and take it, and so that the people who follow us have a different type of mindset. And so because of that, I really want to thank you for stopping by.
You're welcome.
The mind business, we're only just beginning. All right?
Thank you.
And the book, show them the book again.
Yes.
Mindset Revolution.
The book is Mindset Revolution, Re-engineering Your Mind from Prison to Purpose.
Yeah.
I always say that a lot of people, their minds are in prison until you get out of the prison of the mind. And that is a very dangerous prison.
Yes.
Because it's the prison without walls.
Prison without walls.
Yes.
And without an exit date. At least when you go to a prison and say 30 years, okay, you can wait 30 years, come out. This prison you're not coming out of unless you work at it.
No, work at it.
Hey, thank you so much for watching. This is Diaspora Weekly, and I want to thank again TapTapSend, fastest money sent from Europe to Africa and vice versa. You can send, you just TapTapSend, download the app, use DNT as your code, and you get free $10 or £5 or €5 towards your first transaction. My guest has been Oscar Bimpong, Mind Coach, and you just watched a special Mindset edition of Diaspora Weekly. My name is Jermaine Nkrumah, and thanks for watching.
Long live God of mine. Long live the baby mine.
One time. So come go to Jenny Mumpire. So come for we are fire. I'm ready ever to you. Gonna make the ever to you. Me free Ghana, me man penny a wodi kanu your friend on Dr. Nkrumah. Yeah, me sign up when my dear number your mama. I send back up baby na me tia, eya me wangwa. Yeah, ono neje fan hu die. Get na raya sasin ye, eya body de my ye. Moja na no me gunya de to ha ma ye. Edru me ne wo go say ye be ye bi atwa so tie. Get na die